a rubber.
So you get something that goes under it. and
Down
click it.
right away.
But no, not all your
like
lights.
creating like your.
Oh, well,
Okay.
let's say
Well,
you
that's-
draw it backhand,
So like.
Okay. So
Okay.
I know, but I'm saying like, even,
because we have someone on Zoom here, so I'm gonna review the questions together, so she could also hear. Actually, it's very good everyone's involved in it more than usual, that's great, it's much better when you're doing yourself and just listening to me. But because you have someone here online, so we just review it. If you can hear what's going on in here, okay? So we're gonna go through the questions. What is considered carrying? So, question one. Winter, could you put on a winter coat in the middle of the summer?
You can, it's not carrying.
Not carrying. Could you put on 2 sweaters?
You can, it's not
it's the
carrying.
normal way to wear.
Assuming that's the normal way to do it, and that's how it usually is, that's not an issue. 2 winter coats,
Not, that is carrying.
people don't usually wear 2 winter coats, so that's carrying. It wouldn't be carrying Minatain, it would be Midrabanan, it's not the regular, but you can't do that. 4, wrapping a blanket around you,
Not carrying.
If you wrap it around your head and majority of your body.
Yeah.
don't get that? Your head and the majority of the body, your head too. It's not just enough the majority of the body. It's like a regular garment. You want to turn it into a garment. 5, tissue inside your shoe for comfort.
Not carrying.
It's not considered carrying. You put a handkerchief inside your shoe for comfort,
That is carrying.
It has its own its own importance. Only
right?
its own importance. So it's
Anything that you're not going to throw away afterwards, it has its own use, its own designated use, will not become nullified to your garment that, oh, it's serving, it's part of the garment, it's serving actually serving your body. It's not about serving the garment. It's about serving your body. Because serving your garment does not, something that's there to protect your garment, very important thing of it. Something that's there to protect your garment doesn't become a garment because it's there to protect your garment. Definition of a garment is protecting your body. So the reason why it's becoming a garment, you put a tissue inside your shoe because it's protecting your body. As opposed to later on, if you go down to later 9 and 10, over there, we're jumping out to 9 for a moment. So 9 is okay. So look at 9. A safety pin to hold the garment together is okay. Now over there, it's serving the garment. Now it's okay. Why is it okay? We said a garment is only if it's there to serve the body. The safety pin is serving the garment,
It's helping.
but the difference is it's becoming part of the garment. In other words, there is where you are using something that's not a garment to protect the garment. It's not a garment is to protect your body, not to protect your garment. The safety pin is not there to protect, it's not like an item that's being used to protect the garment. The safety pin is serving the garment, it's serving a purpose to hold the garment, to close it together, to keep it together. So now it's becoming nullified to the garment because it's serving the garment. As opposed to if you're using something just to protect your garment, if like the example, I don't know if I gave this example, but for the men to put a plastic bag over their hat to protect their hat is not a garment because it's just to protect their hat.
Oh, the raincoat and the shades on.
Right.
Rainbow.
We spoke about the shaitel. The shaitel is an issue, but many opinions bring that it's okay if the concern it's going to seep through and then it's going to make your body feel uncomfortable. Sort of like a gray area with this opinions seem to be lenient. So you have to be cautious with that. So using a rain bonnet to cover a shaitel is not so simple. It's not a green light. A rain bonnet to cover your hair from the rain, 100% okay. But after you get married, you're wearing a shaitel, you want to put a rain bonnet over your shaitel, it may be okay, but it's not so simple. It's not like for any type of rain. Oh, it's raining. Oh, no, 1 second. It's a strong rain and it's
It's like a shower cap.
But like a hood is okay.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
part
no,
of the
yeah,
jacket.
It's part of your jacket. It's part of your garment. You don't have to put it on your head. It can dangle down too.
What about a scarf that like you wrap around like it's a hijab?
Around what? Your shaitel?
Yeah, it's normal to wear a scarf like that. Girls with, women without a shade don't do that.
So, okay, so you want to put a scarf that's a garment. Do people wear it like that sometimes?
Yeah.
And it's tucked, it's like.
To keep you warm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. That's a very good example. I like that example. You have a good example, yeah. A scarf around the shaitel, and people do it even not for the shaitel, for your hair, to keep your body warm. If people do that sometimes, then you're wearing it in the mode of a garment, like wearing two sweaters, and you don't need any sweaters. So people sometimes wear it. People wear it like that, so it's not specifically to protect the shaitel. It is, but
Right.
people, in other words, it could be worn even not to protect the shaitel. People wear it sometimes that way. They wrap if that's the case, they wrap the scarf around their head like that, around their whole. So then you could do it to protect the shaitel. Yeah, it's a very good example.
But do you have to wear a scarf in a particular way, or it's like, oh, it's a garment, you can always.
You can wear it on your
We're talking about now, wearing the scarf.
Just a scarf, like sometimes like you wear the scarf just like you wore it earlier, tie it all around, and then you're leaving now, you're supposed to, it's not as cold. So you put it just like this on top of your jacket, it's not gonna fall, but it's not as tied and like.
But my understanding is that people wear it sometimes
Oh,
like
yeah, they
that,
do.
right?
Okay,
People
fine.
sometimes wear a scarf like that. It's a
Yeah.
mode of dress. So we have people.
It's like, okay, fine.
It's a style how people wear. They put this scarf hangs down like this, even though
Yeah.
it's open. It's not doing too much,
Yeah,
but that's how people wear it.
thank you.
Just go over here.
extra buttons we were on.
Let's see. Yeah. So we're up here. Extra button. Extra button is a big argument about extra buttons.
Do you,
Extra buttons. If it's extra buttons, then you know you're never going to use like my shirt buttons. Extra buttons. I never use any extra shirt buttons.
That's
There's
all fine.
no issue. But if it's buttons that you would use, if you lose a button, then there's different opinions about it. Best is to remove it. If you didn't and you want to wear the garment, you could wear it on Shabbos. If it's a very expensive button, like something really like a special, like a gold, I don't mean like pure gold. I mean whatever, like a nice, these like good, nice buttons that it's gonna be hard to get anywhere else. Then you shouldn't wear it.
Oh.
does?
Yeah.
Does, even if like you're unsure. if
We're talking
you're-
about extra. We're not talking about buttons that you don't use. It's part of the style of the garment. There are buttons on the outside you don't use, but it's part of the style. We're talking about extra buttons that is
Like the
there in
big-
case you
the
lose a
jacket
button.
in case one falls off.
Right.
Does someone's profession potentially influence, like, if I was like kind of neutral towards a button, but I'm a seamstress, better to not wear something because they're inherently, I have an interest in it. Does that make sense?
What am I getting at? Let's do that again.
So I'm unsure if like this particular button, if I love it, if I'm interested in it, but my like career is a seamstress. So inherently, I will at some point have interest in that button.
Okay, fine.
Yeah. I'm just going to
That
assume
could
that
be an
every,
issue. Yeah, I
every
mean,
button is an issue for me, so I'll.
things that you have an interest in those buttons.
Yeah,
So then you should hold on to it. Yeah, then you should take it off.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Alright, when we're saying the extra buttons, are you saying the ones that are like sewn to the tag, or sometimes like, like they're in a tiny baggie and the baggie is like attached to the garment?
If it's in a baggie, then for sure it's an issue.
I guess that's what I thought,
If
but if
it's
it's
in a
just
bag,
sewn.
then it's like, no. But I'm talking about extra buttons, I mean, it's like, it's
Sewn,
sewed, it's
yeah.
not much sewn, it looks like a button, it's just like in the inside, it's not doing
It's
anything.
usually.
If
sewn
it's
to
in a
tag.
bag, that's a real issue.
Okay,
That's already a bag hanging down.
yeah,
Frequently they're sewn to a tag on the garment. Is that also an issue? Or it's a tag,
Sewn to
a tag, like the tag that tells you what fabric it's made out of?
yeah, that you were saying is fine.
Like there's a tag sewn into most like skirts and stuff in tops. That tells you like this is made out of 100% cotton or whatever.
It's attached.
Then
The button would be sewn
that's
to
what you're
that.
talking about.
Yeah, and
The
buttons are
buttons-
usually sewn onto
The
that.
button is sewn onto this, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, a
Where,
lot of
Not
buttons
in
come like
this.
that,
Like,
especially
seen
my coat. My coat, it has it like
Yeah.
The button is sewn into the tag?
Yeah.
Yeah, just right on top, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's normally how it goes.
Yeah.
It's a similar to having a button sewn to the garment. It's sewn to
Yeah.
the tag.
I
So
don't take the
you said
tag
about a
off.
bag is worse because it's
Yeah,
like hanging
yeah.
down. But if it's sewn to the tag, it's the same thing like being sewn to the garment. It's the same idea with whatever we discussed.
Okay.
Okay, so 9 and 10, I think we discussed it. 9 safety pins, we said, it's serving the garment. It's the usual thing that people do. So it's not considered carrying. And binder clips, assuming that people don't do this. So binder clips is not considered,
Where is
it does not become nullified to the garment, huh?
Yes.
11,
Carrying.
It's very.
glove ties to the garment is considered carrying, has to be sewn. If it's tied, it's considered carrying. Only thing is, it's not considered carrying in the regular way. It's not a biblical prohibition. It's a rabbinic prohibition. Fine. It's sort of, so it's not like, it's still carrying. Bottom line is, it is carrying.
So if we have a really expensive coat that we don't want to put stitches on the sleeves, but it's really cold in our hands, like we have bad circulation and want to wear gloves. Can we, or do we need to sew it?
Halachically, you could put on gloves even if it's not sewn. Al Rebbe says you could be lenient. Al Rebbe says it's good to be strict. Proper thing is, it's best to be strict. If a person has a hard time with it, it's very cold, you could be lenient.
Like
In other words, there's flexibility here. It's somewhere it's not absolutely prohibited. Gloves, right. So 12 gloves sewn to the garment.
Not carrying, just
Oh,
the two
yeah.
stitches.
That's if you're wearing the gloves, right?
Oh, the gloves sewn. Oh, but still not
That's because
carrying.
you're
if
wearing, it's because
they're
you're wearing the
hanging-
gloves, right?
Yeah,
But also if they're hanging down, it's not carrying.
It's not-
Also if they're hanging down.
Yeah.
because they're part of the garment.
Ever hear that? Also if it's hanging down. Even if you're not wearing it, if it's sewn to the garment, it becomes nullified to the garment.
Yeah.
Let's finish at least this sheet. 13, is it mutter to wear a jacket or coat over your shoulders?
My
Oh,
note
We
says,
say that
seems like
you,
you can't.
whatever,
Yeah.
something it isn't carrying because it doesn't going to fall.
Like if you clasp the top buttons over your shoulders, we said it was okay.
But if you're not, like, you're carrying a few.
I said, my notes
Are
say,
you saying if it's gonna fall off, you're gonna pick it up? Is that what you're saying?
she's saying if it's the top button is buttoned, it won't fall, so it's okay.
Like,
Yeah, and people wear it sometimes like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People sometimes wear it over the shoulders and you close the button so it won't fall, then it's absolutely okay. But if it could fall off, and then sometimes people pick it up and they don't necessarily, you're not uncomfortable walking without it, let's say, you might just pick it up and then just carry it. Then you can't wear it not because it's carrying, it's a decree. Our sages decreed you can't wear it because you might come to carry it.
Okay. So you definitely can't do it without the clasp, or my note
It
says
depend-
it seems like you can't because it could come to carry.
Right, but if, let's say, what I'm saying is, let's say if the person says, I would never walk without it. Let's say
Oh,
this person,
okay.
his derech is, if it falls, he's not gonna just pick it up and walk with it, he's gonna put it on.
Okay.
But usually, it is, usually a person would feel 100%, if person could wear something on his shoulders like that, if it falls off, you're gonna say, oh, he picks it up, he's gonna be embarrassed to walk without it, he's gonna put it on right away. He's wearing it on his shoulders, so if it falls, the likeness will pick it up, and he'll walk like 6 feet before he manages to put it back on. That's the usual thing.
Yeah.
But it depends on that.
Yeah.
What is the usual?
Okay.
When is it usher? 14. When is it prohibited to lift the bottom of the garment? So if you're walking the street, you're wearing a long coat, let's say, and I don't want my coat to go into the puddle, so I want to lift the bottom of my coat like this. Okay, so it shouldn't go into the puddle.
If you look,
When is it prohibited to lift up the bottom while I'm wearing it?
if
Where-
it has sleeves,
if it's above the, it goes above majority of your body, like it's no longer majority,
You don't
probably
want,
majority
you
of
don't
the
want a regular garment, right?
body. Yes, yeah.
Very good, okay. If you pick up if it's not covering the majority of the body, by regular garment, if it's not covering the majority of the body, very good. Yeah, and what am I'm referring to a specific situation over here.
Like with a poncho, you can't
A
do it,
poncho,
because it doesn't,
a
Is it
poncho
enough
or a talus by the men. There's no sleeves, so because there's no sleeves, so even to pick it up a little bit is not a lot. It's not actual carrying, but it's prohibited because it appears like carrying. Yeah, I mean, if you're just picking it up, let's say for less than 6 feet, it would be okay, because let's say it's a short, because less than 6 feet is allowed. You just can't do intervals of less than 6 feet continuously. But a one-time deal, you're allowed to carry less than 6 feet. So let's say you're just going less than 6 feet, you have a big puddle, if you walk a little bit. So if you calculate actually less than 6 feet, then it would be okay. Yeah, let's just, his gloves considered carrying, okay, we just answered that, it's not carrying, we just said it's best not to, okay. So tomorrow, I mean, Friday we'll continue the other side, hold on to your sheets, if you don't wanna hold on to it, give it to me, I'll hold it for you.
thank you.
We have an extra here.
Yeah, okay,
Left.
thank you.
Okay, this is carrying, right? If you have like your jacket and you like tie it like this.
Do people usually wear it like this? Is this
Yes.
the, is this,
So
People wear it like that a lot.
like for style, or they're not wearing.
you